Heather, we didn't vote on anyone new yet to be the chair. I don't know if you want to lead us right now, or otherwise I can.
Yeah, I will lead.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay. Call to order at what time is it?
5:07.
5:07. Call to orders. Where is the new agenda? Sorry, I'm so here. So do you guys want, we'll do welcome and introductions because I know we have some new people in the room with us. So we'll just go around the circle. I can just start off with myself. Hi, I'm Heather Rubio, 2 kids in East Lake Elementary, and I've been on this oversight committee now, I want to say 5 years, but someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going slow work on this, I'm not sure.
Good evening, everybody. Vista, I'm a member at large, appointed by the board. I believe this is my 3rd year.
Good evening, my name is Elizabeth Uribe. I am a parent representative. I have 2 kids with CVEST, and this is my first term on the board.
Yeah. John Salzman. I'm also a parent representative, I guess, and 2 kids in the district. And this is my first term as well.
Jade Batista. I am the representative of the Taxpayers Association, and this is my 3rd year on the board.
Sean O'Neill with Balfour Beatty, and I'm part of the construction management firm.
Brittany Faustina, I'm the Director of Fiscal Services for Kids.
Esmeralda Ardion, Facilities Planning Manager.
I'm Gonzalo Leon Garcia, I'm Accounting Manager.
I'm Jessica Aquino, I'm the Business Services and Support Specialist.
Hi, my name is Mark Miranda. I'm the new Senior Director of Facilities Planning and Maintenance Operation for the Chula Vista Elementary School District.
Yeah, and a little more on Mark. We're super excited to have him. He's on his third month. Yeah. So it's been a position that has been vacant for over a year. So Tom Silva's not here tonight, but he's been assisting the district. So I also want to thank Tom Silva for the year that he's been going in as interim for us through our search process. And I'm Mark Bong. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services.
And I'm Aubrey Mann, Auditor.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. So let's approve the minutes of the December 3rd meeting. Does everybody have them? I want to just take a quick moment to review them. Then I will motion to approve them.
Second.
Does anybody have any changes or any discussion on this? No? Perfect. Okay, and then we can elect a new chair and a new vice chair. I think I've done it for 2. Have I done it for 2 years?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that kind of the, you rotate out of this? Hard enough to finish that. There's nothing in ed code that defines how long you can be chair. Okay. It's up to you guys.
The chair gets the privilege of helping to lead the meeting.
Yeah.
The vice chair would step in if the chair wasn't here.
And Jade, you're the vice chair, correct?
Yes.
And I'm the chair. So.
And the chair usually helps to present at the annual board meeting.
Which Jade did
the
last
report out
year.
on the district.
But
Yeah, and I don't mind either.
yeah, and so I don't want to nominate, I think you guys are all great and qualified to do this. I just don't want to nominate you if it's not something you want to do. So I ask if it's something you want to do, you nominate yourself. Okay. Then we can continue as Heather as chair and Jade as vice chair.
Actually, was interested.
You want to do chair?
That's okay.
yeah.
But it would be vice.
Okay.
Is it possible to do vice?
I'll self-nominate to be chair.
Okay, so we'll nominate Jade to be chair and Elizabeth to be vice chair. So I think you could start this meeting. Hello. Item number 5.
All right.
Anyone opposed?
Oh.
No. Perfect, thank you, we really appreciate it. Thank you, Jade.
No problem. All right, well, number 5, report possible approval of Measure BB, Measure M, financial performance audit as of June 30th, 2025. Is that by Aubrey? or Mark?
Yes, thank you. Tonight we have for your review and possible approval our annual audits. So every year we have to be audited by an external audit firm. They look into our financials and do a performance audit on the district's practices. And we have Aubrey Manier from Wilkinson Hadley King. They're our external auditor, so an independent outside agency that comes and audits our district on our bond measures. So we have VB and M. AA, we haven't issued any bonds yet, so that one does not have an audit yet. With that, I'll hand it over to Aubrey.
All right, which one would you guys like me to start with?
We have a couple of copies. We didn't want to print out the whole thing in case, we didn't
Does
need
anybody
to,
want a
but
copy?
Do you guys see one? We have some here.
Okay, I'll start with measure M.
This is that one.
So I'm gonna start at the back and then I'll go closer to the front, kind of go over some of the financial information, but I'd like to start on page 31 on the bottom of the page. This is a summary of our results. We did issue an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, meaning that they are a fair representation of the financial position of the bond fund as of June 30th, 2025. We did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls, and we did not identify any non-compliance material to the financial statements. In our performance audit, in which we tested the bond program against compliance requirements in Proposition 39, we did not identify any non-compliance that is required to be reported, which is an unmodified opinion for the performance audit. So with no findings to be reported, I'm gonna turn back to page 7 for a summary of where the bonds were at June 30th, 2025. I just wanna make note that when we identify fund balance as of June 30th, 2025, that does not account for any commitments that have been made. So it accounts for things that have been fully expended and earned by the vendors in the process, but you may have contracts that are committing those funds to specific purposes. So it doesn't mean you just have $70 million available to spend. So as of June 30th, 2025, there was $70.3 million in assets, $1.1 million in accounts payable, leaving $69.2 million in fund balance. On the following page, page 8, the income earned on the bond funds was interest and adjustments in investment values in the county treasury of $3.9 million. Expenditures in the program consisted of $1.4 million, the majority of which being capital projects, for a net change in fund balance of $2.5 million increase, bringing it to $69.2 million. That is a summary of the Measure M bond fund. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Then I'll do the same with the Measure BB bond fund. I'll start on page 32. And just like the Measure M bond fund, this fund, we reported an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, meaning that this is a fair representation of the financial position as of June 30th, 2025. We did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls, and we did not identify any non-compliance that is material to the financial statements. And in our performance audit, in accordance with Proposition 39, we did not identify any audit findings that are required to be disclosed, issuing an unmodified opinion on compliance. Flipping back to page 7, the
Measure BV bond fund had current assets of 44.1 million, the majority of which was in cash in county treasury. Accounts payable of 1.4 million, with remaining fund balance of 42.8 million. The following page, page 8, revenues were consisted of interest and adjustments in fair market value for investments in the county treasury, totaling 2.6 million. Total expenditures of 6.8 million, the majority of which were capital projects, for a net decrease in fund balance of 4.2 million, landing at the 42.8 million per year end. Any questions related to Measure BV?
Question.
Yes.
So, because this fund balance end of year, is this what we're supposed to be? Is it something in your audit that you also kind of mirror, like projections, and that we're following it, and the funds that should be there at this time are there? Is that part of your audit or no?
We don't look at like long-term projections for that, we're looking at your actual numbers. So what this would account for is things that have been expended as of that date. So if the project has started and the vendor's invoiced and they've earned, say, 10% of the project, that would be accounted for here. This is how much remains as of June 30th that has not been earned by the vendors yet.
Okay, so just a general like in and outflow of money, making sure that it is being used for the purpose that it's being used,
Right.
and receipts accounted
Yeah,
for.
we're looking to make sure that the projects that you're performing are consistent with what the voters approved, and that you follow, internal control processes and the provisions outlined in Proposition 39, which include these meetings that you hold to check on.
Do you remember at what point we enter arbitrage? Because some of this stuff has been sitting here for 3 years. So are we in arbitrage already? So we're paying interest, wow. So just to give you, okay, so in 2023, the district has issued $212 million worth of bonds. There's still 100 per June 30, 2025. 100 million still, a little over 100 million to spend. And so the government's basically saying you can't earn interest on money you issue. That's taxpayer money. You're supposed to issue the bond and then spend it on projects. For one reason or another, for the last 3 years, the projects did not move at the speed that they had issued bonds for. And so you have to pay taxes on any interest earned.
What is that number?
It's not humongous, but you have to do a calculation.
Yeah, we have to pay
Is that where other,
this year.
that's not other reimbursement.
You had to pay it in 24-25 did not include any arbitrage.
It was 25,
So it'll
yeah,
be
'cause they hit
26. So we'll separate that as a separate line item, so it's visible.
But that's not supposed to happen. Just like, that's not a common thing. That's just because of the slowness of the projects. But the one I'm confused about is like, what's other reimbursables?
Reimbursables?
Yeah. It's an odd line.
So I have to double check just to see what exactly it is, but it may have been the general conditions that we paid off for baby, because there's CFVs and then there's general conditions.
I wouldn't just go into construction manager.
I think the construction management is the fee. I have to check.
Okay.
I can bring it back.
If the line items are matched up to how they're broken out in your financial system, so they should be able to provide you with what those specific expenses are. And we use the same descriptors that the district used.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's some, I'm just curious what that was.
Yeah, so I believe you're correct. The construction management is the specific fee for the service, and the other reimbursables has to do with other amounts they reimbursement for, costs that they incur, they reimburse them for.
Just seems like a high number. I think the 17,000 seems more than reimbursement of other construction services. $1 million? Maybe I'm not thinking.
We can get
Yeah, in our next meeting in May.
But
Was this just as high in, this is BB, how about in M's too, so for both BB and M?
Yeah. Wait, so you guys have commitments, so you are committing those funds in these.
It was 146,000 for Measure M, so it was much lower
That's
than Measure M, much lower. And Bernie, can you also check to see if we, if it's possible, we could have inadvertently swapped
The
the
numbers.
numbers?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, we'll make a correction so that you guys have that.
Anybody have any other? Questions?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm not sure this is the time, but I think, you know, bring up a good point is, you know, sounds like there's new staff, so there's a plan to kind of get projects moving faster again.
Yeah, we'll see in the presentation later.
Okay.
You know, we have modernizations already lined up and we're working with the crew on, you know, later this fall, a modernization project is starting. So we'll start to be using up the cash on that and then we have 3 additional that we're working on right now.
You're not issuing any more loans right now, are you?
Not until we start spending down what we have right. I think potentially at the earliest, at the end of the year, but we're still working with our financial advisor on that. Questions? Do we want to approve it?
Yeah, does anyone want to move to?
I'll move to approve the bond audits.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Yeah.
So by approving, since we need to double check on the other reimbursements and it's $1 million compared to 100,000, should that be just double checked before we approve? Or can this be amended
You
or?
can accept.
You can accept it,
You
yeah.
can accept the condition that we double check that.
Yeah.
Okay, can I do that?
Yeah.
So move to, a motion to approve on the condition of.
Yeah, just double checking that we didn't, that it's not a mistake.
Construction management and other reimbursements.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Okay, so do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, yes.
All
in favor?
Motion.
Aye.
Opposed?
Great.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you all for
Thank
being
you all.
here.
Call me tomorrow. I will, actually.
We've been working together for years.
You did the report.
We actually are going on the
board
same exact
too,
day.
right?
I did.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Had a lot of
Literally the same
questions.
day,
You answered them
same
very
year.
well.
Thank you.
At different firms.
Yeah,
Same,
we're
same job.
frenemies.
Yeah. We both have the 2 children that she would have.
Awesome. Good to see you.
All right.
Honestly, if I have it.
Yes, you have a.
So let's move on to number 6, report on measures BB, M, and AA bond project updates.
All right. So tonight we have for presentation the projects that we've been working on that have been funded through BB and M. Just a reminder for everybody, we have Measure BB that was approved back in 2018 for 150 million. This one we have 100 million that have been issued, 50 is still available. For Measure M, we have that approved back in 2020 for 300 million. We have issued 112 and a half million, and we still have 187 million available. And then back in 2024, Measure AA was approved, and we have 360 million still that's available to issue. So a summary of the project so far. So in this current fiscal year, as of March 16th, you can see all the projects that have either been completed this year. So we did have our bottle filling station and our network equipment that we completed those projects through Measure VB. And then we can see in Measure M, we have about $3 million spent this year on our HVAC roofing project at Roar and our Lindo modernization project. And then out of Measure VB, we have about just under $3 million on various projects. So Tiffany HVAC roofing project, playground renovations, the security camera system throughout the district. We're working on replacing flooring throughout the entire school at Aurora Vista Charter School and Waters Lincoln Elementary. We have some switchgear replacements at Waters Lincoln and Loma Verde. And those are the Measure VB projects.
Barb,
Yes.
I have to ask, can you just walk us through how you guys actually get to the point of where you're doing the work? Because I guess I'm missing where the work is not happening. Sorry. It's been a year since Lindo and it's $964,000. I mean, you guys have $100 million. That school should have been built. And I get it, you have people, is it like something not getting approved, the board projects, like where? I mean, you guys have a whole team still, you have people, so.
Yeah, so we actually have a full update on Lindo in a little bit.
Okay,
On a
can you
future
walk me,
slide.
so what's the process? So the board has already approved all the projects, right?
Yes, they've already approved all these projects. And
No, all the future this 200 million, the board has already approved 200 million, or whatever is left of the 100 million. All that's all accounted for, approved by the board, those projects are yes. Is that where we're at?
No, not so far. We've only approved these projects
These are the
and-
only projects approved by the board at this point.
and 3 additional modernizations.
But does that account for this 100 million? Does that take up all that 100 million?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so the
Which
board
we'll
is,
see on some of these where the funding's coming from.
so the board has approved certain projects at this point, which is everything we saw and then 3 additional projects.
Right.
And then, once the board has approved those, and I imagine those happened years ago?
No, these are future ones.
No, the
The
approval.
approval one.
has happened already. The board has approved these renovations.
Yes, these ones are all.
Yes.
And there's 3 new projects, so this has all been approved.
Yes,
And then at some point, all this stuff has to happen.
yes.
Why is it not happening? I just wanna understand why it's not, I think we all have that same question.
So
does
we've
the
been,
whole-
we've been
the
in the
whole-
planning process with some of this. So when I came on board, that's
Which is what, 3 years ago, 2 years ago now?
a
No, I'm not,
year and a half.
I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 years ago, okay.
Yeah.
So planning, I understand, but
So, we've been in the planning phase for a majority of these projects, and so, we've had the HVAC roofing project at Tiffany, that one's almost complete. We're having one more summer that we need to install skylights as part of that roofing project. And then that'll be complete. The
Is it
floor,
staffing? So it's like one GC at a time can do a project, or is it like?
No.
Well, I think the big thing for Lindo specifically, Lindo was originally supposed to be an HVAC and roofing project only.
Okay.
However, when the architect and design team did their structural analysis on the existing building, because the HVAC units had increased in weight, they found that the existing structure wasn't up to 2023
so
code,
where
which
you're
turned
going.
which turned into what it is now, which is a full
Modernization of the
of
building.
the
That's
campus, and we just hit 100% DVs. So then that goes into the next phase, which goes into your construction documents, where we start seeing the details come to fruition, and then it gets submitted to TSA, and that's anywhere from a 4 month to
So is that where things are getting, I just think we're just trying to understand where it's getting, and you guys have been here this whole process too, I'm sure you guys are just as.
I'll respond to that. So the process is like with architects is that they go from the design development phase to schematic design phase to design development phase, then to the construction documents, and then once those construction documents get to DSA, then they'll go for review, like Sean was explaining. It is a process with DSA. DSA in San Diego just doesn't do San Diego County, but they do in Riverside, San Bernardino County, and Orange County, and Imperial County. So there's all those school districts that are putting in their plans and stuff. So they need time to review the plans. Once those plans come in, then it's like a 2 to 3 month process to go out to bid. So we have to formulate, get all the front end documents in line. And then once we get those front end documents lined, we conduct a job walk, go through the job walk. Once we get the job walk, then we make sure that all their certificate of insurance, the documents that are in place. Then we take that to board for approval. Then once we get approval, then they get the notice to proceed, then the notice to proceed. So there's a long process, long
Yeah,
step.
no, I think we get that part. The part we're confused about is, are you just doing one project and going through that process at a time? Is there not an ability to like run 3 projects?
Right, so I think that's where we'll see more on here.
But right, what was, okay, I'm not trying, I'm just, because we're really trying to get down to why we've been here for a few years now.
Well, maybe we can go through the presentation first, because I think some of those questions can be answered through some of this, and then after, if there's more questions, then, can discuss further.
Maybe one thing I know that would help me is to know, all these different steps you're going through. We have a roadmap.
Like a flow chart?
A flow chart that we
Or
follow.
estimated completion date for these projects. I
They
think
have
that's,
them in the report, but that says July 2026, I don't know if that's like.
Does something like that exist or some way?
No, we can bring more back to that next meeting.
Wouldn't that help? That would help me to kind
You
of
know,
know.
like a flow chart or design just kind of like a timeline of which kind of how typically each of those processes and phases last and everything. That help?
Yes.
And
I don't know if that would help you.
Yeah, I
They're all
guess
running concurrently.
that's what
Yeah, so right now we have 4 major
I know projects are being done,
projects.
but for the amount that was issued and the plan that the voters, when they voted on all of this money and all these bonds, they were hoping for more things to happen, and so the longer you wait, the costlier it becomes. And the longer you wait, all these people who are, never get to see anything happen. So our kids don't have playgrounds for longer periods of time, they have to be in the, so anyway. And I understand positions are not filled, but one person's position should not impact, even if it's the head of it.
No, I mean, we've
the
been moving
program.
forward, so
Yeah.
we have 4 projects, large projects that we're currently working on. That one of them is out of, we're almost at GSA submittal for the Violet project.
So we're saying, it doesn't appear things have been moving or are not moving fast enough, but we can't figure out where the
break is.
Yeah, that's where we're stuck. I think that's what, we understand there's a long process.
one concrete example would be like the Rogers renovation playground that started last summer. It is now almost this summer, and we don't have there's some weeks where I don't even see construction on site. We don't have a playground at all, so a kindergarten playground, they went a whole year while having to walk 12 minutes, 4 or 5-year-olds across campus to play with upper grades. So that's an example of our children don't get to see these renovations, but I also don't physically see something happening at the site constantly.
we just had our OAC meeting with the playground projects. Right now we are waiting for the manufacturer to deliver some of the posts that were supposed to be installed at the time for the canopy. Once I just saw an email that he's gonna get back to us tomorrow or Monday with that ETA. Once we get those posts, you're gonna start to see it's gonna move fast. And so sometimes it's in
So
fabrication.
equipment delay.
Yeah,
There was an equipment delay with that one.
yeah, so, and with a lot of those playground projects and stuff.
Switch gear, no, it takes
Those
1
gears
year
are, yeah.
for us to actually get the
They're in high demand and, COVID did not help that whole, you've seen the switch gears, I mean, they are out lead times of 18 months.
So knowing that, you guys plan with the 18-month anytime, I'm sure you do, I'm not picking on any, I'm just trying to figure out.
Understand the process.
Yeah,
Right, so
it doesn't seem
I
like
think right now, on paper, it doesn't look like we're spending much, so.
No, not only on paper, in actual reality. In reality, yeah, I think the community feels pretty similar to what we feel, so
Okay.
I think that's pretty common. I don't know, I'm not gonna speak for you guys, just kind of people who can talk to us about.
No, I appreciate that feedback because that's where we can, you know, we'll see, we do have 4 large projects going on, but we can look at other smaller things that we can do like at other schools, so that way there's more visibility on other projects and, you know, things like that, so we'll look into that.
Mark, can you go to the slide before? I just want clarification on the title of your slide, or the chart. You said summary of bond expenditures for
School year, it's for this school year, what we've spent.
Oh, okay, so, and then is it my understanding that the project's in progress, it's just that they've already started or will start, or like
So
this
these are actual
period?
expenditures that we've already done. So
Okay,
the security cameras, we're just waiting on one more location, which is our transportation yard. They're the last ones to implement because we had a situation where we had to run additional internet, or there wasn't internet access because we wanted some in our parking lots. So we had to install internet access out there first. And then that project will be closed out after that. So that one has been completed district-wide.
and the 2025 and 2026, do you mean like calendar year or
School year.
School year, right? So then at the end of 2026, is it my impression then that these projects that are in progress would be completed? Is that an assumption I can make, or is it just that they're going on? I just like to kind of.
They're going on, yeah.
where to-
So we can, yes, I'm hearing it would be helpful if on this we have projected like completion dates.
Are
these
the between, completed in progress plan?
Right.
So this is expenditures, is that the budget for each project or is that like the actual
No,
dollars?
it's not the budget.
So, I'm sure some of these are multi-year projects, so it's kind of a strange kind of visibility just to see kind of what's been spent between this time period and this time period, because, flooring, $4,000, you say you're flooring the whole school, that's obviously gonna be much more than $4,000.
Right.
So it's kind of a,
Right, we have more,
Because that budget was
A request. Yeah, we wanted to see what was, because we want to make sure that at least
Yeah,
there's some
because
spending.
before we had just the
Yeah.
budget and the total expense that was paid,
Yeah.
but it wasn't clear how much was actually paid in the current school year that we were looking at, so we'll be able to see more.
And to answer Elizabeth's question, our fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th.
Oh, thank you for the
Yeah. So we're not like, when you say end of 2026, we're not December, we're.
Oh, right, school
June
year, but
30th.
I'm glad you're being so specific.
Okay, so here's where we kind of see more of the actual budget of the projects. So the ones that are in progress right now, the security cameras, so we're looking at 807,000 total for that project, about 2.1 million for the playground projects that we had previously listed, and then those 2 flooring projects at about 1.1 million. So we still have about 4 million left in this issuance that we're spending. And then when we look at Series A from Measure BB, the Tiffany project is about 4.9 million. The switchgear replacement's about 208,000. Our security camera, this is a different project from security camera. This is access control. So this is kind of a buzzer system at the front office that we've been installing. So about 557,000. This security alarm replacement, this is a future project that we're allocating about 500,000 for to replace the security alarms throughout the district. Here's the 3 other projects that we had mentioned. So Cook Elementary is a modernization, so we have allocated about 21.2 million. Lauterbach Elementary about 13.8 million. And Palomar is going to be funded between Series A and B. So this one has about 2 million. And we can see here the actual cost to date for all these projects that are in progress right now. So the Tiffany project, as I mentioned, There'll be work over the summer to finalize that for the skylights. That's part of that closeout. The security cameras, again, this is almost completed. The next full transportation is just the last location. The security access, we've just begun those installations. Network equipment we've completed. So playground renovations, so about 900,000 remaining. So I believe there's 2 schools that are left to be fully completed. And the flooring replacement, that's happening this summer. So that one, there's a lot of move involved with that, and so there's not enough time to have recarpeted the entire school like during spring break. So we have to wait till the summer to do that project.
Would it be helpful if those projects that show you that there's different phases?
Well, I have a few questions on what would be helpful would be to show how they were picked. I know we were looking at projects Valley Londale was 1960s and we're kind of on that year. And right now I'm looking up, Cook Elementary was built in 1980. So did we skip it?
Yeah, Lauterbach, Palomar, and then what happened to the housing project?
Yeah,
So we're missing where all that's happening. I don't.
Yeah, where those decisions are getting made. Yeah, I don't hear it in the board meeting.
I don't either. You show some have been approved, but that's just them approving. Actually, I don't even know. Is it in the consent agenda? Because I don't remember.
I didn't see. So
November, I'm busy.
So number 4, these were estimated costs under review by district staff and subject to change. Were these schools already approved by the board?
Yes. So these are ones that were already have architects, and we're working with architects on a design right now.
So this goes back to, we remember there was a giant, so this is where we're lacking that communication again. Because you guys gave us this big thing that had all the stuff that needed, facilities need, right, and it had tons. And then we were looking kind of like the bridge, what's that priority list? I don't think we ever got to the priority list, is that where we got stuck? But you guys have one, clearly.
Yeah, we can go, after this, we can go back to a previous meeting where we had kind of find out, I think the next 9 modernizations. Yeah,
So that is the priority list, and that was set by the board at some point. Yeah. Okay, no problem, I think that's where we're, I don't know
I
if
think
we've
the
worked
part
out.
that gets confusing for me, and everybody can get me confused. Just show, you see what you want to see, it's all 6 o'clock. At any rate, just to kind of break it down, like I said, maybe a flow chart of what's happening. And then you can kind of understand, well, this is the HVAC group, it's at phase 10. I'm expecting that to be completed by this.
Then we realize there's emergency needs, right? There's where something breaks and we have to use the bond, and so how does that fit in here? Because these look like long-term planning picks, and I know there's been a lot of issues that have come up about playgrounds being broken and all that stuff like this. How does that?
So that's where we have other facility funds, we have to spend at least 3%, or we make a 3% contribution annually to what's known as our restricted maintenance account, which is for facilities also. So for emergencies or, we're not replacing the entire playground, we're maybe just replacing a slide or a bridge or something like that. That all comes from those funds. There are other restricted funds in our general fund, so part of that 3% that we set aside for facilities, which is separate from the bonds.
So we're not using it for emergency.
So I guess with the 6 million deficit, right, that we have to cut, is there anything we can do to utilize more bond funds versus in terms of that satisfy the requirement of the bonds, or is it?
Because your capital outlay is pretty low.
Yeah.
Where is it at, budget?
Right, so that's where we do, if the bond funds are able to, support the project, then of course we do try and put it to the bond funds. But we do that 3% of our expenditures, that's a required set aside, and that part is not part of the deficit. So reducing or shifting expenses from there to the bond would not affect the district's overall deficit. Yeah, and then I think I left off that one, so Palomar is the third one that we're working with. So this is Measure M, the Series A that's outstanding. So the remaining of these funds will be used up for the modernization of Bayou Linda. And then here we have Series B from Measure M. So the remaining balance from the modernization. So once we start construction later this year, we'll really see a spend down of these funds. It's just right now, it's kind of in the planning phase, so it's only like architects and things like that, architect construction.
No, they bought it.
The ROAR HVAC project.
What's the artificial turf? We keep asking about that.
So that was a project.
We never were able to verify where it got approved by the board.
So that was approved by the board. Well, we can bring it back.
Okay.
It was definitely approved by the board.
They found it.
Yeah, I found it. I think, I need to check, why am I thinking October of 2024?
Is that where it was?
We can-
Because it was
Something
far
like
back,
that.
yeah.
It was when they approved, I think they approved, the architect costs for the Rogers artificial turf.
So that is the whole cost.
I don't think we've gotten the architecture though.
That's a plan for
I don't
them to
think
get
we got it.
artificial turf.
So it was planned, so it was approved 2 years ago.
I think.
But why? Not to say,
No,
but it's
I
just
mean,
kind
I
of a
would-
strange thing
Right,
at
so-
an elementary school that.
So that's why the project's on hold right now because
So how do
we
you
did-
get something like off of this? It's like not, I'm just saying, like, these things have been sitting
Right.
here holding up.
Innovative.
Are they
Like-
tying up funds to be used for?
no, they're not tying up funds. I think if you look at previous ones, we've been pulling from some of these areas to reallocate to other projects, so.
So I guess what I'm saying is, you're not gonna spend the money on this stuff, so putting it here, like this, isn't really giving us the picture, it's just saying those funds don't have a plan yet,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, yeah.
No,
we
I
can
know, I'm
work
just
on
saying, is staff housing really still on the table? 25 million,
that. So it hasn't been taken off the table yet.
who would take it off?
Well, the- yeah.
That's my question, that's really the question, like,
Yeah.
is that what's happening here, is it still, like, is the staff, like, once something's on here, can the staff say it's no longer,
Priority.
yeah, how does it get, like, is the turf still happening?
So those two projects are on hold right now because our priorities are the modernizations of the schools. So, we've shifted focus from those two projects to modernizations. And then this is another new project that actually has come about based upon need. So
That was a recent.
actually, this one isn't a renovation, it's a new
So
parking
who
lot.
brings it, who told the board members you needed a Montgomery parking lot in December and then they approved it, like, how is that happening? So we're trying to figure that out.
So it's
Because
based
it wasn't
upon
on-
staff recommendation.
Okay,
So, this need was brought to us by the school site. What's happening at the school site is, I know there's multiple school sites that have the same issue, but this campus specifically has the space available to accommodate this need. So, they don't have a bus loop at the school site. A lot of our schools have bus loops, so that way the bus can drop off inside of the campus and not block traffic. But at Montgomery, there's there's two very busy streets that it sits on. And it has to park on the street, sometimes cars are like blocking the
no, we're not
bus.
debating,
Yeah,
we want the kids to be safe, no one here is
So-
debating that.
so that's how this project came about.
Yeah, so somebody emailed somebody,
well, I was working with the principal on the
oh,
need,
okay, so the
yeah.
principal contacted somebody.
And I know there's several sites like that, so how do you then determine, okay, they're happening at these 3 sites? Cause I've emailed you about another site it's happening at, the same thing, simple, and like, how do you prioritize that then?
So that's where us as a cabinet, we decide whether or not a project would move forward with the bond or if it would be a restricted maintenance project.
So you have specific criteria that would decide if it's gonna move this way, that way.
Yeah, usually we look at them as safety needs. I know some of the ones that Ms. Batista has been talking about are some issues that we're working with the city to address, in terms of like signage and things like that. And I think we did another project at the pool, that we were working on.
Everybody uses because we don't have a swim instructor.
I haven't heard much about that.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the criteria is chosen to be prioritized, but get on the list.
Also interested in, if the board approves a project and then staff decides that it's not a priority and doesn't do it, how does that kind of work? That seems kind of, like if the board directs this project to be done and then say, well, we're reconsidering it, is that then communicated back to the board? Or is it just, because it's on the list, right? So how does it decide not to be done? They decide not to do it then?
Well, we received feedback from this group and other groups that, we wanted to see other projects move forward. And the housing project was one where, we could reallocate our focus to,
It was like a staffing issue, just in terms of capacity to get projects out the door, so it's like just prioritizing based on limited ability to manage multiple projects.
Right, so some of it is staffing, and our ability to, I think we're working on 4 major projects right now. Our calendars are booked with architect meetings with our CMs, community meetings, staff meetings. So we've been going out to all 3 of those. With Violendo specifically, we'll see it's affecting other communities also.
So none of this would be a question if you didn't issue all the bonds. I guess that's the ultimate thing. So I guess that's the reality. So what's missing here is the planning part. You keep saying this, but I don't think anybody would be questioning, but you went out to the taxpayers for more money. Like you issued bonds. And so I think that's where all of this is coming from. So
I'm probably like the most sympathetic to that. I work for the city and I'm in the engineering department and I deliver capital projects. I manage capital projects from, like all the city buildings. So I understand the process, but I know that, years ago when we issued Measure P, we had Measure P issue bonds and, we brought on extra help with consultants because we knew we had a big work bill to deliver a lot of projects and we didn't have staff and it didn't make sense to staff up for just a surge in work. Is there something with the bonds that restricts you bringing on consultants to supplement staff and deliver? Because it does seem like there's a lot of unspent money and I don't know, maybe that's not considered like the best use of money, but to me it's like staff time costs, consultants time
rising
costs
cost of goods.
But at the same time, if it takes years more to deliver the projects, then you're losing that in terms of escalation in costs, and then also just maintenance costs in the meantime to keep up with facilities that are falling apart in the meantime. So I think it's a legitimate question in terms of there's unspent money here, there's definite needs.
I think it is the question. And just to give you a little background, school districts, some districts have half and half staffing, consulting and district staff to get projects moving. So I don't know. Kind of like the city. So I don't know how that got made or what. Anyway, again, I'm not trying to pick on anyone personally. It's not you. And you know this. It's just kind of really trying to understand. And I think and then none of these questions are new. I think we've brought up all these questions almost at every single meeting we've been at collectively. I'm trying to think if I wasn't at the last one. Questions were up, I didn't watch either. Let's see what else.
So if could we have something, it would help me, maybe nobody else, help me to know, this flow, how this is happening. And when you're making these decisions about, we're gonna do this one, but we're gonna do this, what kind of criteria are you using to make those kind of decisions? What happens then?
Yes.
And I think this committee is missing that piece.
Okay.
That's why there's so.
And ultimately, it is your guys' decision on whatever projects,
that.
yeah,
We get
and
that.
whatever projects go, we just wanna make sure that, you know, what you're providing is like, okay, good, we're spending it in the right places, are we spending it like as quickly enough so our students can see the benefit of these projects in, you know, that don't take 3+ years to do. That's the main concern.
Right.
I mean, I can speak to the modernizations. We used a facility conditions index. It's a formula. I wish I had the numbers memorized, but we do have what's called a facility needs assessment. I think that's what was shared with everyone here. We used that with the facility conditions index, which led to the top, I want to say like 10 modernizations that we're working on. So we can provide that. To the other projects regarding the HVAC roof projects, those were set phases that we had. This personnel that we had in place. The other projects I can really speak to those. We could collaborate
Right.
here on.
And so that's why, you know, our focus has been to allocate the funds that we do have currently. And, you know, we're not rushing to issue the next series, you know, because we could have issued under Measure A already, but, you know, we know that we have to
But we
spend
don't
up
mind
to-
you issuing,
Right,
if you're
right.
gonna build stuff, I guess
But
that's the
we're-
thing.
We know that we need to use up what we currently have first. So that's why, you know, we have these 4 projects that are going to be using a significant amount of these funds. And then, you know, once we're out of the planning phase for those, then we'll start planning for the next 3, you know.
Who ran Maxwell Transportation Yard? Cause that one got built fast and well. Who was that?
So that was,
So that was an outside consultant,
Well,
their construction manager.
construction management, you ran that project. Well, I guess that answers our question. So,
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of
cause you're not
information
an
on that
employee,
project.
you're a consultant. Cause that one was the one project that
That
was
moved really fast.
moved really fast and did move. Solar wasn't
You
bad
guys did
either.
that for BSA though, right?
No, I went through the city.
That's what
It
the
took
city-
us 18 months to get out of the city.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say,
it
actually,
was-
that one took a long time. Actually, that took a
I appreciate you
long time.
saying
But it
that.
was built.
It was, yeah, it was built.
I mean, there was phases and we saw
Right.
things move along and the solar project was really well done too. So those were, I'm not saying there was some really good, the solar project too was run really well. That was great actually, you guys really organized that one very well, so I know it's there. That's kind of what everyone's hoping for all the other projects, and I think that's why you had people vote yes on this stuff. And it's gonna be harder and harder to get people to vote if we don't keep showing them
Progress.
Yeah, progress.
I think we could do a better job maybe of showing, you know, what we're doing on our end to get all these projects moving. They are moving concurrently, rather
Yeah.
slowly, but they are moving.
Okay, thank you.
I think now it's picked up, really,
Yes,
really.
actually,
I
yes.
really think. I'm looking at the dates right now, I can see that the Series B and the Series A and Measure VV was issued in July of 2023. And we know from that point, there was a few transitions, big transitions that
Right.
happened, and I'm sure that did not help.
No.
But not, you know, it's the people have plans and one
It's
person
changed.
leave and it's changing, so, but I think we are at the point now where we're getting our ducks in a row and we're getting
No, we
things
do,
moved.
we just wanna put it out
Yeah,
there.
of course,
Right.
yeah.
No, we understand.
And we're hoping that then when we talk about the next, you know, the report that we say to the board, like, those are some of the questions we got, like, directly I would be like, oh, Mark, you know, I direct them to you because they're asking like about the progress, and we're like, here's a roof, that we took a picture, and so like if we could get more.
Yeah, they don't seem to be aware
Yeah.
of the construction project.
And I think one of the transitions was, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, the previous bond, it was more full-scale modernization. And then we switched to,
E had a list of schools in it.
Yeah.
And when VV came out, I think it did that.
It was broader.
I can't remember.
well, we could have, but they decided to do
Did
it
that- yeah, so
like
it gave it
small
like,
projects. But I think
remember
we're back to making it
Yeah.
as,
E had a list of schools that were in a priority that were shown to be modernized. And that's the sequence that we followed was those, so.
Can I ask just a follow-up?
to all of this. Is it possible then, because it's sounding like you guys need help, and I mean, I hear it. And is it a way to be conveyed to the board to ask, like, if these monies are able to open up to contractors to come in and to help, to move things quicker, can it at least be brought up or seen if it's even an option? Yeah.
So they have, I think we're talking about bond program managers that help, implement projects also. But, I don't personally think that we're at that level yet, because again, we have our major projects that we're moving forward. And we can go back to that other presentation from, I think, maybe 2 meetings ago where we have lined up the next projects also. So that way the committee knows.
Staff
what we're
housing
working on.
costs, that was just the cost of the land, right? There's no actual building.
Right.
So now we own a piece, Chula Vista, the taxpayers own a piece of land. And Texas, Chula Vista, yeah.
I mean, it sounds to me like, now is the time to get these long processes started on the next round of projects, because you're gonna get into construction, you're gonna get that good spend, but then, you don't want to spend another 2 years for the next round of projects.
Right, that's kind of what's.
In the planning phase with the low spend level. I mean, you get those, to a point now, it sounds like a lot of stuff is like, towards the end of design. And now, there is a long, it takes some time to get through design and permitting and all that, but I mean, that next round should be on the heels of this, right? And you should be like, when that construction starts to like slow down and stop, like that other stuff is ready to go to construction, not ready to go to a 2-year design and planning and permitting process,
Right.
So, I mean, I think and maybe if we had some visibility on that of seeing like, kind of the sequence of.
Process.
Yeah, I know, I mean, where I work, we have, you have everything laid out and it's like, this is in planning phase, this is in design phase, construction, and then this other project here, and you can kind of,
Yes.
and then, you have cash flow, like, models to like,
Future issues.
yeah, make sure that.
Which I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I have a template that we used in my last district that just didn't go into the cash flow, it just went into, it had, it was an Excel spreadsheet that just showed all of our projects in place and then what phase they were in, whether planning, construction, closeout, and that kind of helped at our COC meetings to identify where we're at with those processes and stuff, so I can.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at, yeah.
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I know we have kind of the same thing, and then, time scale on the top, and then,
It has the
we know
months and then.
this 1.5 years for design, and then this 1 year for construction and close out, and then, everything kind of cascades down. You can kind of see like the future projects, and you can plan your staff time, and cash flow based on that.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's a master program.
I do have a facilities master plan, yeah,
Right.
and we're looking to update that as well, just to get a better assessment on what priorities are we gonna put for the next set of schools. And so once we get that developed, then we should, be able to move forward.
I think that was last developed before even Mark, Mr. Pomeroy, so it's been in need of an update.
So then in terms of our other projects, so again, these 3 modernizations, we've had, I think at least 2 meetings with each principal. Already one of them, we're at the level of meeting with the school site staff, that's Palomar. So we're meeting with our OPR architecture, is the one that's doing these projects.
What's the general scope of those?
It'll be modernization, so HVAC, roofing, flooring throughout the
New
school.
TK classrooms.
Right, so we're looking at spaces to see where we can, we have certain spaces that if they're new construction, they have like, for example, they're supposed to have bathrooms in TK and kindergarten if they're new construction. And we have a need for that programmatically also. So to the extent that we can include that in our modernization, we're adding either new buildings or bathrooms to the campus to
Where's
be
the
able to
district's
accommodate some
preschool
of that.
program going, or where is it housed?
It's throughout the district.
So there'll be no same classrooms, or are you building, we have classrooms that exist for them? Is that what they're like adding
We
to
have a
that
state
preschool?
preschool. So we've been noticing a decline actually in our preschool because of
Okay.
transitional
Yeah,
kindergarten.
okay, that's what I thought.
Right,
Okay.
so-
you guys are not using those, so I'm asking because I'm like, or can you use some of those classrooms?
Right, so where we have been able to, we have transitioned to using those.
And to my knowledge, I think the only state preschool in this set is at Lauterbach. And that's staying in the same place. The Palomar and Cook do not have state preschools on their site. It's just new TK classrooms.
And they didn't have state preschool, they couldn't use their classes, not that you should use those classes. I think it should be safe in a nice space for everyone.
And there's a whole permitting process that goes into those state preschool licenses, so, we're careful if we're gonna repurpose that room, we wanna make sure that we're okay with preschool, and that it has another location. For our security access control, as I mentioned, that's going on right now. Tiffany, the skylights are being installed this summer. And then the carpet replacements at Watersinking and Arvis are also this summer. So here, just to show you the process of what goes through on the playground renovation. So this top left corner, you can see that they're starting to tear up the playground. They remove the structure, removing the old, old turf that was there. And then once they do that, they have to compact the area. And then here's the completed playground. And we can see kind of a little bit on this one, we have put it because we're also make sure that they're accessible. So, if there's handicap access that needs to access it, that they have items that they're able to access on the playground area also. So there's a lot of like music type things that are being installed for that. So over the winter break, we had some work done on the Roar HVACs. We did have a bad storm that came through, so some of that had to be diverted. I don't know if you want to speak on that a little bit more.
Yeah, the plan for the winter break was to tack some of the roofs as well as update the counter room, get ready for the new equipment that's coming. With the storm that came, we decided to postpone the roof, and then that's happening over spring break. And then the majority of the work will happen over summer break. There'll be a new chiller, boiler, and some of the bigger equipment that's going to happen.
Okay, and then the biggest update that we have is about Lindo. So we're going to this presentation. This is a presentation that we did for the community, Lindo community, back in January. So this is just kind of the entranceway into Lindo that we have designed. So in this presentation, we went over the new school design, what the timeline is, and some of the important dates. The relocation process of Lindo, because this
Just
one,
real quick, what's the population of Lindo?
it's in, I think the 400s, right?
Oh, the enrollment, sorry, yes.
The relocation process, because this, as was mentioned before, instead of just a HVAC roofing project, it's turned into more of a rebuild project. Just with the seismic upgrades that were needed, it was more cost effective to rebuild part of the campus, which we'll see in the video. Some of the additional school supports that we'll be providing during that relocation period, and just opportunities for the community for feedback.
Does their enrollment capacity change with this new design, or is it still gonna hold the same number of students it did prior to modernization?
It's gonna hold a little bit more. We have some rooms that are flexible. So that way, if there's a need to increase classroom space, then we have flexible classrooms.
And then So people, when they're registering right now, will be going to buy windows still?
Right, so we'll see a little bit of that in the presentation. Sorry, I just signed into the secure network. So this is
Yoda, sorry. There's a Yoda in here that you got.
Oh, yeah. There's a little Yoda in here that.
There's a
No one's, yeah, no one's found it though.
No,
I
not yet.
Oh, we need to find it.
Is it?
The designer actually did some work.
It's that table.
Is that a Yoda?
Doesn't it look like it with the ears and everything? The table? Maybe I'm just. It's not an actual like green.
I think it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not like a cutout or like a like Mickey Mouse or like Disneyland does.
Is that Steve?
So this is walking into the main entryway of the school.
That's right.
This is really nice.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's like a little coat.
And then there's a whole kind of
We're still working on it.
kind of walkway
Because everyone has
throughout the
allergies, but poor
campus.
kid in the pesticides.
Right. You can see what's not mulberries, right? Mark, no mulberries.
No mulberries, no
Pepper tree.
ficus.
So right now,
Ash.
I think you all did a tour last time, right? So this is walking towards the upper parking lot. So this is gonna be where the multi-purpose room is, that's the lunch area. We're walking through here, so the elevation on this, there's like 3 different levels to the school. So, trying to use some of the elevation to incorporate some learning spaces, so kind of like an outdoor amphitheater.
What about those people who are using that space? Do you have to say something? Like a shared backyard space.
Working on that.
Wasn't there like that weird space that was the district and the people were using for themselves?
Basic. So here we're walking into the multi-purpose room that opens up to, we have, this is one of the flexible spaces that can be used for different, either art or science projects, like that. Entering into the front office administration.
Much bigger than.
So we're really trying to utilize indoor and outdoor spaces for the classroom environments. In March.
In most of the year, it's so hot. When you go back to school, July, August, September.
Here's our library and innovation center.
And then March, April, May. So you really just have a few months.
There is quite a bit of overhang, so shade areas that'll cover those areas. Throughout the hallways, we're looking at additional collaboration spaces that teachers can utilize for small groups.
From the bond money funds, do they cover like the furniture and the technology in there and everything? Okay. Just not the any operating.
So this is the one building that we are keeping. It's a single-story building, but we are still upgrading the interiors, making sure that they feel like their facilities are also getting a full facelift.
Is it like the upper grades, the lower grades?
That is the upper grades. Sorry, K through 1. Or K through 2.
It's by the playground.
Yeah. This is the early ed area. So, our TK and kindergarten area.
So it's to get grants too.
I have no idea where it's at. I have no idea.
I thought I could have signed on Kids True.
And then this is coming into one of the GK classrooms. So we're also working on the ingress and egress, so the pickup and drop off area. The school has a bus loop that's also like the pickup and drop off, so we'll be separating that also.
That's really nice.
Really excited.
So when we look at the timeline, we're looking at relocating the school starting in July 2026.
Where will those students go?
So those students will be going between two schools, so Roar Elementary and Loma Verde Elementary. They're just a little bit down the west on Olympic. So we're looking at 2-year construction. So it'll be open for the 28-29 school year. We'll be providing transportation for those students. Zone transfers, so because we have to relocate them to 2 school sites, the way that we plan on splitting up the program is the English only and special day classes will be going to Roar. And then Loma Verde has a dual immersion program, so the decision was made to move that TI program over to Loma Verde.
Sorry,
Oh,
I don't
here,
know how this
sorry,
works.
that's part of this.
Do they operate as a separate school within that
Right.
school, or are they part of that school? So do they
So
have a
it's a good
separate
question.
principal,
Right.
or I'm just curious.
So they'll maintain their principal. So we didn't want to combine the schools because then all the data for that school gets lost. So they'll be keeping their own
It's not great for
budget.
the kids.
So it's just the bilingual student or teachers will teach bilingual students, and then Loma Verde or more teachers will teach their respective students. Some of the areas where we will see some commingling is like in before and after school programs. So we'll have like our lead clubs, you know, those we can do more commingling of students. So like if there's a specific art class that's offered at Roar, then bilingual students and Roar students have the opportunity to go to that after school class.
Question about the schedule. July of this year, if you're just getting construction documents started now,
We're gonna do it in 2 phases. So there's gonna be a demo phase
okay,
and a grading phase. And then as the plans get done with the DSA, then we'll start the construction. So there's gonna be two phases on that. So what we're starting in July will be the demo grading phase.
Which you don't need DSA approval, which allows us to start with.
yeah. Still seems like you probably have
To be,
potential downtime, but I mean, you gotta start sometime and.
Right, so we're relocating the students because it's hard to relocate during the school year.
Right.
So we want to have that clean break where you
Yeah,
can,
makes sense.
so some additional supports that we're looking at, an assistant principal to help with that transition between the 2 schools. So that way, Bilingual has a administrator on each side at all times.
Those are gonna be charged with bonfires.
No. We're looking at supervision, so splitting the staff that's already at Bilingual, and transitioning those to 2 other schools. And if there's a need for additional supervision, then we'll be supporting with that. And then front office staff, having a house clerk at Roar, because the majority of the administrative duties will happen at Loma Verde with like a Bilingual front office there per se. So we're looking at some transportation being provided to those students for those residents of the bilingual community. Looking at maintaining the same start and stop time for both of those schools. Again, combined programming for the before and after school program. So for families that might get split up, they have the opportunity of zone transferring for that time. So that way their students can go to the same school. Like if one's in DI and one's in English only, then they have the option of, either transferring to one school or the other, depending on which the family decides. Yeah, so that's where the project's at right now. So we're really working with those 3 schools. We have committees at each school site that we're working on those relocation needs, because it is going to be, it's impacting 3 communities really. So that's where a lot of our time right now is being spent, to make sure that the transition over the summer happens smoothly.
Do any?
So we've also acquired some portables, so to the extent possible, we're using rooms that are available, but is some need to add some portables to both of those sites.
Do anybody's kids go to any of these schools? Your kids do go to Violando, so they are being impacted by all of this. I'm happy, thank you for representing. I'm hoping to get representatives on this committee from the parents of some of these schools, so we can kind of keep an eye on projects. So that'll be a big change. Thanks. What grades?
Next year will be 3rd and 6th.
And then on our ICOC webpage, we do have a link to our campus modernizations.
Rather than
We
doing
have
all
one
these
for
ones?
on each school site, but then also
So you have to go to the schools page.
it's also
It's
sorry.
linked from the CBOC
I
page.
think I linked to the wrong one. Each school has their own, and then it's also on the ICOC. So you're on our ICOC homepage. So we have updates here. I'll update that one, yeah. So, so on the ICOC and then the 3 schools also have links on their page. And with that, that concludes what the district has been working on.
Any other
You guys gonna be busy.
About this particular project, I don't know.
Yeah, any other questions? Move on to the discussion of the 2025-26 ICOC annual report to Board of Education, which is a presentation.
What date is that January board meeting?
Yep. No, it's not, so I'm
June, sorry.
Some 6. Could we go last year?
June 17th.
Yes, it's on the 17th of June.
So what we usually do is we present a PowerPoint to the board. It's whomever would like to go up. I think usually the chair, vice chair speak, but I think 2 years ago we had like maybe 4 of us go up and speak on certain slides. And then they may ask us questions, which we can't answer. We also direct to Mr. Pong. But usually we don't get any hard-hitting questions to us. Yeah, so is this the document for, or did you give us?
Essentially, it's all
Sorry, I wanted
report
to
out
bring it
there.
up.
It's like the only thing we
On
really
this.
have.
Yeah. And so what we will do is we'll basically provide the report that we've gotten today, like what we've spent to date, like what the progress is. We provide some pictures as well, and then we kind of affirm that, like, yes, as a board, we did our responsibility in making sure that we provided oversight of the bonds and issuances, including making sure they were spent according to the measures that were approved by the voters.
We can put, like last year, we put something in about the speed.
Yeah.
The projects in there to report out to the board. So this is where we can share.
Yeah, so it kind of goes over like what the ICOC did over the year, what we reviewed in each meeting, what some of the major projects are in each one. Goes over the audit report.
Are we gonna do where would we site walk? What's going on at Violando at this point? Is it the same as last year? Or have changes been made?
No, it's right now it's still the same. was the last sidewalk.
Maybe some of the playgrounds.
So we can go see some of the playgrounds.
Yeah.
So at the May meeting, we could visit, I don't know if we want to go to multiple or just one. Yeah, we'll
We could
can
do
find
like
out.
one in the beginning phases and one that's completed.
Mhm.
And then maybe too, like, I think in the board meeting, the cameras were always talked about, like in the safety piece. I think it'd be great, like I've seen cameras now around some different campuses, like we could just take a picture with the camera, like, hey, they're here now. Because I know people have asked
And the
about.
buzzers are all in, but I don't know,
Yeah.
is that wasn't paid, or were the buzzers part of one?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
They're all there.
so that was something that was
You guys
talked
all have
about.
buzzers at your school?
It's not fully complete. We just started that, yeah.
That was like something that's been talked about for like 2 years now too, so to see it up there was great, yeah.
Or report out on our funds, just some history on each ballot measure. Kind of what we've allocated out.
Would it be okay to like get a,
So this is where I think we did add some phasing in each of them. So we can add that again.
can we provide, like, it'd be helpful to have like an estimated completion
Mhm.
in that slide too.
Okay.
So is this, what are we looking at here?
What we presented last year.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're asking if it's gonna be.
So
the same
each year, the committee has to provide an annual report to the board.
And who assembles that? We, or just-
So we,
It
no,
could
we
be
do,
either
so
or,
we'll bring
they
a
put
draft to the
together.
next meeting. And then request comments from the group.
And that's where if we wanna see something in it right now, they can assemble it. We also can add stuff or modify. And like I said, that's where we put last year, I think, a portion about not agreeing with the timeline, feeling.
Oh, yeah, we did already have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
security cameras here.
So.
yeah, I think that'd be the biggest thing is just to kind of have some, you know, because it's like we have data here that's chopped up and we have, but some way of kind of understanding like, here's the projects that are happening, here's how much they cost, here's the future, here's the general schedule for them. And so we can kind of see where, because I mean, here you guys are saying, it's like, oh, these things are in progress, and then they hit a certain point, and then you really start spending, you know, $1 million a month on this project, and you really start spending, but you kind of like see that and not, you know, just kind of, yeah, it's coming, but have some kind of visibility and understanding of that, because it does just look like when you look at this, why do we have all these needs, why do we have all this unspent money, right?
And why do we
that
only
can
spend,
make
what,
us
like
costs.
$7 million this year?
Yeah. So.
Yes, so if you guys could put that report together, and then we'd be happy to review it. I did wanna last year change a few things, but I'll do those on my own if I get to them. I don't know if Jay has the same funds. But it's like we all go out with the best intentions, and we know you guys are busy, so I don't wanna add anything to your schedule. But if you guys could send it, once you put it together, I don't know if you mind sending us the PowerPoints or wherever it's at. Then ultimately, the presentation could be anyone can present. Jay did it last year. I think I did it the previous year, it's simple.
They didn't move it out last year, it was like a, it was like it's a different thing, yeah.
11:30. Like lots fast.
Why didn't we had like there were some things, they got moved up, but not moved up enough. And I think there's like a lot of public comment that meeting, and so,
Close campus meeting?
no, it wasn't meeting.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was a lot of public comment at that one.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, maybe it's a graduation, location one.
Oh, yes. We're all, okay. Awesome. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, if we could move it up, it's
Okay.
always nice.
Yes.
And then you guys. Just leave it alone.
This weekend, what we'll do is like in the May meeting, we'll talk about like, okay, like how we wanna present it, things we may wanna still change on it, and then, we can talk about like the format there. And then we do our walkthrough on that meeting.
Yeah, we'll plan a site plan.
Is it possible then to share the presentation with all of us? Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
actually send it and then you can all.
Oh, yeah, they'll research the
Yeah.
whole group, yeah.
But before the May 6th meeting, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Anything else on the annual reports? Do we need to figure out, it's like I guess we'll go to here, the meeting dates for May 6th. Does that time work for a walkthrough? Are we gonna change the time?
Yeah, I think the last time we made it in the morning, so that walkthrough first and then continue with the meeting. Before, I mean, the last time we did this.
But wasn't that like, I thought it was at like 2:30
I
or
think
something.
after school,
Yeah.
like right
Yeah.
after the bell rang, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't at 5.
Well, yeah, no, we can do that.
We come here, we start the meeting, then we go, because we lost the
Does that work for everyone?
at 2:30.
So we come here at 2:30 and have the meeting, and then you said we all.
Yeah, I think they have cars, or we drive to the location to go see it. And then we come back here and finish up the meeting.
On May 6th,
Yes.
2:30?
Well, last time I think we completed all the business.
Cars?
And
Oh,
then
yeah,
that
then
way
we
we
go
can
sidewalk,
come back.
yeah, so that's easier, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because we wanted to make sure to get to school after they were all out.
Yeah.
Is it easier for you guys at 3?
Max will.
Like 3.
Okay. 6 at 3?
To get here at 3. So then we'll go through our business items, go over the
Yeah.
report, and then after that, we can go to some sidewalks.
Any other items or open discussion?
Sorry. So first of all, I don't know if it's clarified, but I am the representative from the business community. So I'm part of the Chula Chamber and but I'm also on the San Diego Task Force as a member. I've been a member for years, but Laura McCurney's always been. So I haven't been on top of it because I had a busy season, it ran into January. But I couldn't believe it when I opened it up and I saw that we got a D- on the report. And I am in complete shock right now. No, we went from A, and I don't know if you guys know this, so like, the taxpayers rate all the schools in San Diego, the San Diego Taxpayers Agency, and they rate your bond programs on a number of factors. And we worked really hard, and have been in a long time, in that A- range. And in 2025, and I just saw it like this week, we got a D-, the lowest number in the whole county of San Diego, the lowest grade. And to top it off, they like mentioned in the article, like, one of the worst districts is Chula Vista. And so I asked them, like, I'm honored, like, I'm sorry, I'm not your representative here, but I'm all on this, like, what happened? They said they emailed you guys and nobody responded.
No, we did. So
we
were going through a transition in our website at that time. So, some things, got relocated. So we've been working on that. And so we've been going through the checklist to make sure that
Some of these
everything.
things could have been resolved. That's not, some of the stuff was like, you don't have a taxpayer member, but you do.
Right.
So what, you could have answered that question and you could have received those points. So ultimately, it shows me that nobody really truly looked at their questions and responded to them or took anything they asked. And so that goes back to accountability and ultimately some of the issues overall. Sorry, I'm shocked. Like, we went from A- to D- and literally we're on this committee and we have, it's like a failure of a committee at this point. Like, I'm not saying that taxpayers are the only authority, but to do that significant, and it's really because we did all this stuff. It's just somebody didn't respond to them and give them the answers to the questions. Because the stuff they said that we didn't do here, we totally did. It's not just a website transition, so.
Did they send us an email before the grade, or did we get an email after we were graded?
Before, they said they emailed Dr. Reyes. I asked them, because I was really shocked.
Maybe they
Essentially,
missed.
order.
So I'm just saying that's kind of a real
25
embarrassing.
school year.
Yeah.
And when did they issue?
Because, well, just from my personal experience in the past, I think, I don't know if they, do you know the process? Do they work with our tax rep? Because I thought our taxpayer association member is the one that helps rate.
Laura McCurney used to help out, but they still, I have attached the report card, I sent to Dr. Reyes in an interim format with a 2-week window for corrections before it was finalized in October. So they got nothing, so all their responses were based on their findings, the district's website, and whatever they could compile. That's it. That was their, I don't know, it's just,
So,
it just shows, I mean, I get things are missed, but
That's
we,
pretty important.
yeah, that's, and I get it that the taxpayers is one agency and they have their thing, but to be sitting here and seeing this whole thing of every district in the county and to get the lowest grade of that when last year we were, what, an A minus to a D minus, and then to top it off, they put together the release and it just straight up says, one of the most notable things is the slide of Chula, Vista. I don't know, what is it? It's only embarrassing, I guess, let's see. I mean, it's an agency, so. Anyway, what I said, the steepest decline was seen in Chula Vista Elementary School District, dropping. I don't know what the next page is, sorry. They just have page numbers.
Yes.
I'll send the link over, but that's all. I just want this to be on your radar, if that's possible. I
yeah,
don't
no,
know.
that's for sure.
You knew about this.
Well, after we got the results, yes.
This is
Trying to.
for this. So I'm the director for this one, this next one.
When do I'm sorry, when do they typically send it out?
So October.
October.
Just I'll reach out to them,
Well,
we
the
know that
thing
they
is,
have a
they
new
had all the
person.
stuff. That's why it's like even worse. Because it wasn't like we weren't doing it and you did do all this work. So I think that's, I mean, I think it's just you guys are doing all these things. And even for you guys, you shouldn't receive that grade in your bond program from the taxpayers. And like I said, I understand they're in one agency and they have one say. But people look at that when you issue new bonds. People look at that when talking about the district. And it's one of the measures in our county. So I just wanted to bring it up, and I don't know if we want to mention it in our report to the board, but we can.
I think we should be transparent.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's because we didn't do things. I think that's where I think everything they asked of us, except for the one thing which I don't think were included in the decision of the auditor. And that's the only reason we've ever had the A minus, but you guys do all the other things.
I think that one we met, because Gloria was.
Oh, yeah, so you could have got an A plus. So I think that's the right, I don't know, I'm just.
And we worked so hard for the
We really. And so it was just shocking.
So it's just a response that was needed.
And it's, yeah, and so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on our radar, so thank you for the feedback.
Do you have a point of contact?
I do now, yeah,
Okay.
I'll send them.
Yeah, thank you. Because if they can't get, then I can always email you as a rep here.
Yeah, they have a new president, is
They
it
have a new
president?
president, yeah, I was a former council
Yeah, they've been going through some transition.
member, yeah. They still did their thing, they still sent the email, they reached out. And I get it, we go through, but I think that's the concerning part is our transitions or your transitions shouldn't impact everything, right? It should work in a way. But I just was shocked. I was like D, not even like a C or a B. Instead of a big slide. D minus, it wasn't even like a D plus.
That would
Not
really
that-
been a lot better.
Really? I also was. Well, I just didn't want it to be the lowest, but it's really the lowest one in the county.
In the whole county.
In the whole county. Yeah.
So hopefully they can highlight our growth next year.
They're gonna have that
Accelerate
progress. Don't miss that.
Yeah,
From D to
and I'll email too, just to be like, hey, like,
What do you need?
what do you need? So we can get an A plus, like, for this next one. Okay, any other items or open, I was like, this was not reason, I was not, I just became the time
Just became. No, I really think it's I just couldn't, maybe the transition, some things happened, but when I was like, I didn't have all this, I knew it was something about not getting the information.
If there are not any other items or open discussion, I move to adjourn the meeting.
That's 6:41.
6:41.
Can I just ask something?
Yeah.
I don't know when they voted for chair and vice chair, did someone a motion and second?
Yes.
Yes, Elizabeth. Motion.
We
Oh, no, wait, sorry.
I feel like, did I motion? I think I
I
motioned.
think Heather motioned.
Yeah, I don't know if we did the
Heather
second.
So
Let's
Let's, oh yeah, she did, yeah.
Second.
But then
Yeah.
Elizabeth mentioned about the
Oh,
Yeah.
chair and vice chair.
clarification.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome.
Thank you.
Second, Mark.
These are the seats, so that's how we do it.
That's it.
Mark A, Mark P. Oh, that's gonna be confusing.
Those are the K.
One of the C.
Oh, one's with the C. Oh, okay, there is a Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Steve Purple.
I'm probably the planning manager, I think it's.